I want to say Awakening Wonders, just like Russell Brand does. Is he running a new age cult? I watched lots of stuff about cults. Watched a few shows about him yesterday and over the weekend as well. I'm very interested. This is the Cult of Lift the Veil. Welcome to it. We're going to talk to you guys about Bitcoin today because there's new legislation proposed by Elizabeth Warren. George Washington wants to know if I'll take calls. Yeah, I could. I was thinking about it. I can open up the phones. I could take it later in the show or just depends. I'll open up the phone now. What's up, George Washington? What do you want to talk about? Actually, go ahead and tell me. There's a building collapsing in New York. That's on the news right now. You want me to show you? I'll show you that picture. There's a building, 6-story building that's half collapsed. So I'm going to have, I have some clips, not of Alex Jones saying anything. I was going to ask in the chat whether people watch. Oh. This is Nathan. Hey, hold on one sec. Let me do something real quick. Present, share screen. Nobody can hear you right now, so I that fixed without doxing you. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we can start off with that. That's fine. You tuned into it? Oh, hold on. You're still not on mic. Hold on one sec. Okay, now people can hear you too. Yeah, you were going to ask about the Twitter Spaces.
Yes, man. I was so lucky. I caught it on the some subreddit. I guess it's a conspiracy subreddit. I saw it come through, and yeah, what a momentous Twitter Spaces that was. I don't know whether you tuned into it or not.
Yeah, I tuned into it. It was huge. I mean, if that's what you mean by momentous, it was like 120,000 people tuned in. But yeah, I actually tuned into the whole thing. I mean, 120,000 people at once, and it's had like 10 million or I don't know how many views by now. But yeah, it was huge. Alex Jones is a big star.
And the big names on that were so huge. I mean, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, Alex Jones, the most infamous man in the world, you know, Vivek Ramaswamy,
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I don't like him. But Mark Dice was on. Laura Loomer was on. Some senator or congressperson, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was on. Yeah, it was crazy.
What? I don't know. It was just really. I was just sitting there in my car, like I had to go to work, and I was just like I couldn't even walk inside. I was just like really dumbfounded by kind of what was happening.
Yeah, what was
great?
What was your favorite part?
You know, I really liked the end of it, man. Whenever they were kind of talking about, you know, Team Human, I kind of liked that. I thought that was pretty neat, man. You know, you never know what these people's motives are and like who's saying what, they're real. But yeah, man, Team Human. I think everybody should be on Team Human, right?
Team Human, and that has to do with the population reduction angle.
I think it has to do with population reduction, and then I think just securing freedoms for human beings.
Yeah,
I think that's really, really important. And I don't know whether we have enough people on Team Human. I feel like they've dehumanized enough people to make it so that, people don't even care about themselves anymore.
Yeah. We live in a messed up world. I'll play some clips today about this world, but yeah, we have to be rehumanized. They talked about population reduction. They talked about how many kids they had. Andrew Tate says he has a few kids, which I think was news. Who knows what that's about? But Elon Musk got a bunch of kids. Elon Musk talked about going to Mars, which I think is just kind of funny. What do you think? Are you a flat earther or a moon landing denier?
Dude, he should go to the moon. We should go to the moon first, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, why don't we set up a base? Why don't we set up a base on the moon? It seems like it would be just as hospitable as Mars.
because I mean, the fact that we went there like 7 times,
Yeah.
it's like, let's just make it an 8th. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Why
Right.
not?
Should be easy
It
with the
should be,
technology we
man.
have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that video that you made a long time ago, man, of what was it, that the Jeep that was driving around with the
Mm-hmm.
guy's arm just kind of like, cruising.
Yeah, yeah, the lunar roving vehicle. Yeah, I think they used a remote control car for that video. I think is why I decided in the end with a fake
They
astronaut
probably
in it.
did.
Yeah, because the astronaut was like in a fixed position, and yeah, that was a momentous video.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was very momentous. I love watching that. I love watching that video. It's like one of my favorites, the moon. I think that's one of my favorites. And yeah, I wanted to ask you, since you're pretty like well versed with Twitter Spaces, like, is there a replay of that Twitter Spaces?
Yeah, well, they chose to record it, so there is a full
Oh, they.
replay. Hmm.
Where do you go to find that full replay? I just wanted to get like the very beginning of it because I didn't get there in the very beginning.
I think if you go to the guy's page, who's Mario, I think if you go to Mario's
Uh huh.
page, you'll probably find it. I'll look. Mario Nawfall. He should have it posted somewhere. I'm searching now. So let's see if he made it. Yeah, he made it his top post. It says it's had 11.3 million tuned in. Oh yeah, the guy from what's it called? PBD. Patrick Bet David. He was on the show too. Remember?
Okay.
John linked it in the chat. So yeah, there's a recording of it. It was almost 3 hours long.
Yeah. Oh man, that
So
was so incredible. I mean, to be able to get to talk to the richest man in the world for over an hour. I mean, what? And for us to be able to listen to it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. It definitely shows you what Twitter Spaces is good for. Is you can bring people together that would never, you normally wouldn't be able to hear from, and you can just tune in and hear, um, very famous people checking in. So yeah, I've done a few Twitter Spaces, and that was the cool part is you get people who you would never talk to otherwise. That if it's big enough, then they'll tune in, and then maybe you can get them on stage and stuff. And so John shared a link to it in the chat.
Well, I appreciate that, John. Thank you so much. And are you doing any Christmas sales, man, for your shirts?
I'm
Or
talking
any?
I'm talking about, I mean, there's already a sale page. So like Lift the Veil shirts are already on sale and crypto shirts are already on sale. And I'm talking to one of our partners about maybe doing a sale on Vagabond stuff. So I'll see. But get them
Okay.
while you can. We haven't raised prices or anything, so that's as good. With inflation, we bought this stuff a while ago, so check it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
Truthclothing.io.
that's good enough.
Yeah.
Dude, truthclothing.io, and then yeah, I mean, Cash App always works too.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for
Well,
reminding
great.
people.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan. I appreciate you taking my call, man.
All right,
And
cool. Good hearing from
best
you.
of luck on today's show.
Okay, thanks, man.
Bye.
See ya. All right. Yeah, we do things differently here. We do phone calls at the beginning sometime. If somebody wants to call in, why not? That's one feature of the show that's very unique is that we do phone calls. Why don't I just play the intro? And then I'll start playing some clips from that show where Elon Musk made the news more than Alex Jones did. Alex Jones, well, they asked him about the thing in Connecticut, and he keeps apologizing for it. So anyway, let me play my intro here. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news
the real news.
Thanks, Renee Ganock, or the G is probably silent. Renee Knock, who scored a hoodie for Christmas. Awesome. Thank you for that. Bless you. We love people who buy our stuff. That's at truthclothing.io. I should pin the thing. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, I don't know whether to do a thanks for the super chat too. Really appreciate it. And thanks people who've been buying me coffees. We'll get to coffees later in the show. I'll put up my link there, buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Went out and saw the Godzilla movie this weekend. It's pretty good if you were thinking about seeing it. It got such good reviews and people were telling me it was so good. It's pretty good. It's 2 hours. It's in Japanese, but it's good. It's a good movie. It wasn't like mind blowing, but it's hard finding mind blowing movies these days. So I saw that, and then I was watching stuff about cults, like the weight loss cult. It's called The Way Down on HBO. I have HBO. The Way Down. It was pretty crazy. It's these people that died in a plane crash on a way to a MAGA event in 2021. You might remember it. So it's called The Way Down. And it's about a true cult where somebody in the cult beat their kid to death. So check that out if you're looking for entertainment. I subscribe to HBO, not Netflix right now. I try to minimize all my subscriptions if possible. It's hard getting your hand on all that stuff. Okay, so what do I want to ask? I want to ask if you watch Alex Jones, if anybody here actually tunes into his channel, because Tucker Carlson just launched a new website. I have that in the story. So he hasn't been making any money yet. I don't think, or I don't know if Twitter is paying him or not for his content, but there's no advert. He does. Don't even know if he runs ads. So he's launching a new website, tuckercarlson.com. So John says, Andrew Tate was on InfoWars. Yeah. I mean, do you go to the website and watch InfoWars? Because I don't. And I used to sometimes tune in when I still remember when Alex Jones was on YouTube. I would tune in for it. But since he went to his own website, I rarely tuned in. I tuned in for when he had Ye on, when he had Kanye and Nicholas Fuentes. That was pretty insane. That was actually totally insane. And I did tune in for that. So will you be subscribing to Tucker Carlson's new network? And it's news that he's launching an actual network with other shows on it too, apparently. Some paid content, some free content. So I'll have to check it out. Hey, thanks, Joe Schmo. Appreciate it. MK Tube says I can only watch the show for about an hour at a time. Yeah, I know. It's a lot of ads, right? It's mostly male vitality ads. Yeah, I wonder if he's made, this is such a hard business. So I feel for everybody who's in it, telling the truth and wanting to talk about things like medical interventions and stuff. If you want to do that, or if you wanted to talk about like 9/11, some of those more sensitive topics, or even SH, even if I wanted to discuss, like, it would be cool to go back and look at, and I did this on Rockfin, is go back and look at the evidence for the Connecticut event. I determined that I really have, well, I can't, I have no idea what went down there. I do know that some of Wolfgang Halbig's information was not necessarily correct. I do know that. And I spoke with two people actually from Newtown who were there when it happened, and they had differing opinions about it, but mostly it was that it did happen. Mostly their opinions were that it did happen, but that maybe it was some kind of whatever. I can't talk about it too much, but that's not the reason Alex Jones was banned from Twitter. He was banned from Twitter for going after Oliver Darcy, CNN reporter, at the Capitol, and they called it harassment. And it was his third strike. So, all right, let me show you some clips since we brought it up, let me show you here. This is a clip saying that if what Jack Posobiec asks what Elon Musk would do if a government agency asked him to take down legal content. Okay, so I'll play that.
Though the FBI, the DHS, et cetera, if they reach out to X, I believe they called it defensive briefings in 2020 regarding, which eventually culminated in the censorship of Hunter Biden. If they started reaching out again, would that be something that you or the team, and no, I can understand if you don't want to answer now, but you would consider making public?
We will be as transparent as possible with that, you know. Yeah, and frankly, if I think a government agency is breaking the law in their demands on the platform, I would be prepared to go to prison personally if I think they are the ones breaking the law.
There you go.
The FBI.
So he says he's willing to go to prison personally if he thinks they're breaking the law. So that's one clip that made news from the show. Also is clip of Elon again talking about Media Matters and saying that they're going to be pursued everywhere. So I'll play that clip for you.
Yeah, Media Matters is an evil propaganda machine. So I just generally am against evil propaganda machines, and so we are suing them in every country that they operate, and we will pursue not just the organization but anyone funding that organization.
Anyone funding it.
I want to be clear about
Isn't that like Soros?
Anyone funding that organization we will pursue them.
Wow,
so Media Matters is an evil propaganda machine. They can go to hell. I hope they do.
There you go.
Media Matters.
So that's him saying he's going to go after Media Matters and anyone who funds them. I think they're funded by Soros. So he's going to war, apparently, against everybody. He calls PR companies propaganda machines. And Media Matters is a propaganda machine, and that's true. And they might have gotten advertisers canceled from X. People are making comments about the SH documentaries from back in the day. Yeah, where do people go? Where is Sophia Smallstorm? And yeah, back to Wolfgang. People miss that name. That's Alex Jones had him on his show, and later on just said he was crazy and that he was wrong and they shouldn't have done it. So once again, during the spaces, he was asked about the SH situation, the Connecticut situation. And he said he apologized, he was wrong, and it definitely happened, and all this stuff. So whatever he has to do to get back in people's good graces. That was the reason kind of the media spun that he was canceled. And that was the reason Elon Musk originally wouldn't let him back on Twitter. So, all right. So that's that clip. And then, Vivek took a pee on stream, pardon the pun. So, that guy Jackson Hinkle was on there. Ed Krasenstein was on there. So, yeah, a bunch of people well known. Then you can see Dave Smith, but I don't think he spoke. You see the kind of crew that he got on there. So this is the clip of Vivek actually taking a pee on Mike. So
decide not to have children. That's all I'm saying. And Elon Musk is promoting an optimistic, pro-human future that the science and evidence shows is real and that we need.
Gentlemen, I have to go.
Yeah, I just want to be sort of exactly. I want to be very clear about my position. I'm super pro-human, and I mean all humans. Humans in America, humans in
somebody's
Africa,
got their thing
Asia,
open,
and everywhere else.
Their phone open in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's Vivek. Vivek, that's your phone, Vivek. I'm not able to mute you. Vivek. Perfect. Go ahead, Elon.
Sorry about that.
So, well, I hope you feel better.
I feel great. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys.
Decide not to have children. That's all.
So
I'm
there
saying.
you go.
Elon Musk.
So, and they were talking about being pro-human. They say the AJ was saying the population is going to go down to 500,000. That's what they want to do. And people aren't having babies. And there's a new thing called DINK, dual income, no kids, which has made the rounds lately as a thing. DINK, DINK, dual income, no kids. That's like a lifestyle now. So, and I don't have kids, so people can make fun of me, but I got started a little late. But you never know. You never know what might happen. So, but they did talk about having kids because otherwise the human race is going to go extinct. That's part of the pro-human message. But then there's also just pro-freedom of speech and stuff. So, okay, this is a clip that's definitely going around on CNN. So let me share that. I'll play that clip for you. And then I'll talk about Bitcoin and some other clips. But this is a clip that's going around right now. It's Fareed on CNN talking about how universities are too focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So now finally CNN is saying this. But the annoying part about it is that the same donors who are now threatening their donations to these universities, because diversity, equity, and inclusion, it turns out that it works against favored minorities. So even it's not just that you're a minority, you have to be a disfavored minority. So favored minorities in diversity, equity, and inclusion don't get the same protections as the other minorities. So blacks and Hispanics, and get a specific kind of treatment. And then Jewish people, now that it's become Jewish people, basically now they're upset about it, and they're upset about like what those university presidents said in the Senate, which they said, which I understand where they were coming from, even though maybe they should have said yes. Even though they should have said yes, they said no because there are no generally there aren't people calling for the extermination of Jews. There are people saying that certain expressions are specifically like genocidal, like from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. That's something they say is advocating for the killing of all Jews. If you say that, or if you just say intifada, which means uprising, that's calling for the extermination. But anyway, it was that clip that made everybody think, okay, universities have gone too far. So now it's on CNN. Now he's saying America is losing faith in its universities and says how it's a lot of this diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff. So let me play that clip. But it's the same donors. To see, they were specifically promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. But when it turns out that it doesn't work again, Asians are left out. They're a favored group when it comes to universities. The groups that score higher on tests are kind of the favored groups. So Jewish people, Asian people, white people. But when it was just white people, that wasn't enough for CNN to talk about it. It's just that now that it's become, about a specific group of people, now they're talking about it. So I'll play that clip here. This is from CNN.
Among all advanced nations, American universities have been neglecting a core focus on excellence in order to pursue a variety of agendas, many of them clustered around diversity and inclusion. It started with the best of intentions. Colleges wanted to make sure young people of all backgrounds had access to higher education and felt comfortable on campus. But those good intentions have morphed into a dogmatic ideology and turned these universities into places where the pervasive goals are political and social engineering, not academic merit. As the evidence produced for the
social engineering, shout out to Crowdsource the Truth. Social engineering.
Recent Supreme Court case on affirmative action showed, universities have systematically downplayed merit-based criteria for admissions in favor of racial quotas. Some universities' response to this ruling seems to be that they will go further down this path, eliminating the requirement for any standardized tests like the SAT. That move would allow them to then take students with little reference to objective criteria. Of course, those who would suffer most would be bright students from poor backgrounds.
So I'm familiar with this. I took a test to get into my high school, and they got rid of the test because certain races like don't score as well on tests, and it's like, and they tried to change the tests to make people score better, and it didn't work. I taught SAT test prep and stuff. So I'm aware that there are racial disparities in scores. So, but on the other hand, I I just don't know. Like, I am kind of a liberal, but because even though it would work against me theoretically, there should be, it's just a question of whether you think there should be diversity on campuses or not, and whether you think Black and brown people should be able to go to Harvard and Stanford and Yale and all those schools. But they shouldn't get rid of the tests. The tests are still useful. They just adjust their standards, and that's what they do at Harvard and other universities. They adjust their standards when the person comes from a disfavored racial group or a Native American. That's a good one. If you're a Native American, that's a good one. So anyway,
Browns who normally use tests like the SAT to demonstrate their qualifications. In the humanities, hiring for new academic positions now appears to center on the race and gender of the applicant, as well as the subject matter, which needs to be about marginalized groups. A white man studying the American presidency does not have a prayer of getting tenure at a major history department in America today. Grade inflation in the humanities is rampant. At Yale, the median grade is now an A.
that's crazy.
New subjects crop up that are really political agendas, not academic fields. You can now major in diversity, equity, and inclusion at some colleges. The ever-growing bureaucracy devoted to diversity, equity, and inclusion naturally recommends that more time and energy be spent on these issues. The most obvious lack of diversity at universities, political diversity, which clearly affects their ability to analyze many issues, is never addressed, showing that these goals are not centrally related to achieving or sustaining or building excellence. Out of this culture of diversity has grown the collection of ideas and practices that we have now all heard of: safe spaces, trigger warnings, microaggressions. As the authors Jonathan Haidt and Greg Lukianoff have discussed, many of these colleges have instituted speech codes that make it a violation of university rules to say things that some groups might find offensive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hypocrisy of what they did in Congress. Is they wouldn't answer. If someone's genuinely outright calling for the genocide of Jews, especially like Jewish students or something, then they should be able to say, yeah, we don't like that kind of speech. They just didn't want to get caught in a box. But then they take other kinds of speech that they consider microaggressions and stuff, and then they fire people, or they don't allow people to speak. So this is an article he's showing from The Atlantic: the coddling of the American mind. In the name of emotional well-being, college students are increasingly demanding protections from words and ideas they don't like. So, to me, it's good that the presidents weren't willing to say that they would outlaw certain kinds of speech, which would include chants like "From the River to the Sea." But it's bad that they monitor other kinds of speech, and we know teachers have gotten fired just for using like the word niggardly or something like that in context, just because because it sounds like something bad, even though it's not bad.
Universities advise students not to speak, act, even dress in ways that might cause offense to some minority groups. With this culture of virtue signaling growing, the George Floyd protests erupted and many universities latched on and issued statements effectively aligning their institutions with these protests. By my memory, few took such steps even after 9/11 or during the Iraq War.
That's
In this
true.
context, it is understandable that Jewish groups would wonder, why do safe spaces, microaggressions, and hate speech not apply to us? If universities can take positions against free speech to make some groups feel safe, why not us? Having coddled so many student groups for so long, university administrators found themselves squirming, unable to explain why certain groups, Jews, Asians, don't seem to count in these conversations. Having gone so far down the ideological path, these universities and these presidents could not make the case clearly that at the center of a university is the free expression of ideas, and that while harassment and intimidation would not be tolerated, offensive speech would and should be protected. As CNN's Van Jones has eloquently said, the point of college is to keep you physically safe, but intellectually unsafe, to force you to confront ideas that you vehemently disagree with.
There you go.
What we saw in the House hearing this week was the inevitable result of decades of the politicization of universities. America's top colleges are no longer seen as bastions of excellence, but partisan outfits, which means they will keep getting buffeted by these political storms as they emerge. They should abandon this long misadventure into politics, retrain their gaze on their core strengths, and rebuild their reputations as centers of research and learning.
There you go. So that's his statement, which a lot of people are passing around. This tweet from Autism Capital said, "This boils our blood. For years, CNN has been propagandizing DEI and promoting gender and race as the main tools for the building voting base. Now that their donors are being targeted by the monster they created, they do a complete 180 and say, let's go back." So that's the comment from Autism Capital. So, yep. So maybe there'll be some movement on it. We'll see. Let me see. I might have some coffees. Just take this second to thank anybody who's given me a coffee. I think I have some. Angela Power Disney sent me a few coffees. Then Buddha Girl is the last one that sent me a coffee. Yeah, you can contribute to the show or become a member at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, just to support what I'm doing. And then if you need any help, well, I'll get into cryptocurrency. So I was gonna, I'll show you. Speaking of racial stuff, this is a clip from Barack Obama, Michelle Obama's first movie on Netflix. So they're producing movies now. So this is a clip that's going around. Okay. People are saying it's racist.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people. I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
Okay, see, I'm not offended, but I can see how it wouldn't be allowed the other way. So, but I'm not offended if that reflects reality. It is entertainment after all. So sometimes people are racist in entertainment. So it's okay. All right. So new bill to crack down on crypto from Elizabeth Warren. Fortunately, she's never passed anything, but the market took a hit. It's doing okay though. It's down 5.84% over 24 hours. Bitcoin is. So I can show you that. People must have found out about this crypto bill like here when it dropped like $3,000 in a few minutes. But now it's gone down. There's an announcement of this crypto bill, and it may or may not pass. It doesn't matter. The main thing that's going to invest in cryptocurrency is institutions. So, for example, Bitcoin Magazine said they're going to allow crypto trusts to advertise starting at the end of January. So that's specifically for people like BlackRock who are going to run these ETFs. So that's the money that's coming into Bitcoin that matters is institutional money, and they don't care. But what Elizabeth Warren wants to do is take away privacy. So it's really about privacy, Bitcoin. So, I mean, in some sense, you can at least interact anonymously or pseudonymously with your Bitcoin wallet address. So you can send it to anybody you want. What she wants to do is have it so you can't have your own wallet with your own crypto without going through know your customer, without it being connected to your identity. So one thing that cryptocurrency allows now, and it was originally designed to allow, is anonymity, where you can open a wallet that's not connected to your identity. And that's how people like to store their cryptocurrency a lot of places. So yeah, Mr. Cranky says Obama was the producer of that movie. Yes, that's correct. Okay, I'll play you a little clip from, I'll play you 2 minutes of this, I think. This Bitcoin positive thing from, what's his name? Awaken with JP. Okay, so let me play you a little bit of that. This is a comedic take.
Hey man, have you bought any Bitcoin yet? No, I'm not stupid. Bitcoin is like a giant pyramid scheme. It's like Amway for money. Doesn't make any sense based on my inability to comprehend new thoughts and ideas. Have you bought any yet? No way. Bitcoin's way too volatile. Yeah, case in point. Did you know if you would have put $10,000 into Bitcoin back in 2010, that same $10,000 would now be worth $96,939,950. But that same $10,000 held in US currency since 2010 would now be worth $8,840 after adjusting for inflation. Right? That proves Bitcoin's volatile. And volatile is a word that scares me because I don't have any testosterone in my body. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin even if I wanted to because I don't know how. What do you have to do? Like go on the internet to buy it or something? It's so stupid. I'm not going to do that. Nothing is worth doing if you have to learn how to do it. The price of Bitcoin might be going up exponentially, but that makes me insanely cautious about it for some reason. Well, yeah, that's not how money is supposed to work, right? Normal money is a store of value that continuously loses value. That's how it's supposed to be. I love fiat currency. Storing your value in US currency is like holding ice that melts away in your hand. And I say, good. I want the ice to melt because ice is too cold and not volatile at all. It just predictably melts away. You said it. And with Bitcoin, there's only a finite amount of it that will ever be in existence. And that kind of security is only going to hurt the long-term value of it. Precisely. And did you know 40% of all US dollars in existence were printed in the last 12 months? And that's what makes regular currency so valuable because they can print an unlimited amount of it, which makes the value of what you hold in that currency go up. Sure, why not? I concur.
Okay, that's enough. I would play the whole thing. People think it's funny. Yeah, it is pretty funny. We're in dire financial situations. I'm talking about finance now. So it's just like real estate is not really affordable for anybody. I'm practically a millennial. I'm at the point where, you know, I didn't buy my first home early or anything. I've been renting all my life. So I can show you the average monthly home payment right now is so high because of interest rates going up and because housing prices are so high. We're in for like an economic reckoning as far as that goes. This is a chart that shows the math for buying a home no longer works. These charts show why. Yeah, Bitcoin, you don't have to pay property tax on it. You don't have to pay upkeep and maintenance costs, and it's limited. Real estate is like Bitcoin is like real estate because with real estate, there's only a finite amount of space where you can build somewhere to live. So that's good. That's why investing in real estate is good. It usually goes up with inflation, but Bitcoin is supposed to be similar to that. So yeah, if you that's the other thing I do as a job is crypto consultations. So if anybody wants to consult with me about cryptocurrency of any form, you can text me at 650-GAY-TAXI which is 650-429-8294, or reach out to me on Twitter at LiftTheVeil411. And I can help you out with it. I've been in cryptocurrency since 2017, but that being true, I don't have as much as I wish I could. And I sometimes have to sell it, which is so sad. All right. I have Dylan Mulvaney showed up at Penn State University. Do you guys want to see that? Dylan Mulvaney, I don't think is very popular anymore. Dylan Mulvaney showed up at Penn State and there was like nobody there. Do you want to see that? You guys like that Bitcoin video? Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's from Awaken with JP. It's a good one.
It's a she/they outfit of the day. I'm Dylan Mulvaney. I'm at Penn State. Go Lions! And for our outfit, we've got a bandeau that says state. What's the brand that we love? It's like cute stuff here. Hype and Vice. And then the jacket. And then we've got skirts Aritzia. Shoes are Jeffrey Campbell. Hair is fake. And I did my own makeup in the car. Okay, I love ya. Bye.
Then there's the crowd. It's like 10 people. There were like 10 people there. So maybe things are okay. So we're tying this news together. Maybe things are turning around. We got Alex Jones unbanned on Twitter. We got pro-human outlook. We got small crowds for Dylan Mulvaney. We got CNN saying diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't good anymore. So those are all positive things. Then we have AI taking over the world. McDonald's said that they're building an AI chat bot called Ask Pickles for training with that, for providing employee guidance for worker questions. So they're incorporating an AI chatbot to be like a manager at McDonald's. So it's taking away, I don't know if that's a white collar job. If you're a manager at McDonald's, yeah, that's like a white collar job. If you're not flipping the burgers. So, although people would debate me on that, but it's going to take over all kinds of stuff. I have some interesting developments with AI. What was I going to show you? Yeah, this is like what people are doing. There's something called Pika 1.0. These are the kind of videos people are making. Check this out. Watch. So this is all done. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So that's all done with Pika 1.0. So it means the cost of production for Hollywood movies is going to go way down. And I noticed that Godzilla movie was only a $15 million budget, apparently, and made all kinds of money. So, but yeah, take a look at that. That's pretty wild, right? So that's AI taking over. And then, here's just interesting before, after. This is like AI being applied to emojis to make them like realistic. I'll show you. Here, look. And it zooms in. I'll show you. So this is what it's zooming in on, and it gives you incredible detail. So these are some of these things that AI is doing, AI enhancements. And so this stuff is going to come. Here's a car. That one was a face for the podcast. That one was a face. This one's going to be a car. And it just totally enhances it. It's kind of like those movies. Remember in a movie, they'd have like a really low grade surveillance camera and then they'd upgrade it. That's just what this is like. But man, it's insane. Yeah, it's totally insane. Yeah, I showed you. Here's the clown. That one's going to be, well, here's a burger. Here, check this out. I'll show you. Yeah, look. God dang. So, and it gives you just super high detail. So people that learn this stuff are going to displace people who don't learn it. I was thinking of it for catalogs and stuff, even for clothing. They won't need models. That's the thing. Like with the way that guy changed clothes in the first clip that I played on the last screen, the way he was able to change his outfit, that's what they'll be able to do with models, especially for like catalog stuff. They can just put them in whatever clothes they want using AI. So it's definitely the future. It's coming fast. Oh, well, I have something about pizza. I told you about Facebook being sued, or Meta being sued for promoting child sex trafficking and child sexual abuse images and stuff. Here's a list of images that all use pizza. So that's from the Attorney General's. The Attorney General of New Mexico, I believe, and he's a Democrat, actually. So in the suit, it shows these images. So remember that episode, Pizza, the pizza shop? Okay, here's Al Gore saying democracy's under threat because of the internet. Algorithms are threatening democracy. Here, I'll play that. That's him. This is him at that climate conference.
To one based on broadcasting and then moving on to the internet and to social media has disrupted the balances that used to exist that made representative democracy work much better. Because a free self-governing people rely on a shared base of knowledge that serves as a basis for reasoning together collectively. But if you have social media that is dominated by algorithms that pull people down these rabbit holes that are a bit like pitcher plants, these algorithms, they are the digital equivalent of AR-15s. They ought to be banned.
What?
They really ought to be banned. It's an abuse of the public forum. But when people are pulled down these rabbit holes, you know what's at the bottom of the rabbit hole? That's where the echo chamber is. And if you spend too much time in the echo chamber, what's weaponized is another form of AI, not artificial intelligence, artificial insanity. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Can you think of a more boomer thing to say? We've got to ban algorithms. It's like literally they just feed what people want to see. That's what algorithms have been designed to do. And it started with Google search. I mean, what is he saying? Ban algorithms. What an idiot. And somebody was making a joke, Al Gore rhythm. Yeah, that's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, but he would actually ban algorithms. Like Google search uses an algorithm to serve you, to give you the best results possible based on the few words you put into a search. And how is YouTube different or TikTok? They're designed to read your mind and give you what you want to see. But he's like, no. We just go back to the old way where there are 4 networks and you watch Tim Brokaw or whoever's on the news and you watch your local news. I mean, I remember those days, but now we have many different sources. And you can even tune into the Lift the Veil show. 100 people. I should have a bell here. I'll play. 100 people tuned in. Hey, welcome you 100 Awakening Wonders. Appreciate you guys. So anyway, that's Al Gore at the climate summit. Big polling information out. Donald Trump is still doing better in the polls, especially in swing states. But a certain number of people don't want to vote for either Donald Trump or Joe Biden. So that's where I'm at. I won't be voting for either of them. Although Katie might try to tell me to vote for Donald Trump, but we'll see. But yeah, I won't vote for either of them. And then we'll see if there's not another choice. There should be another choice. I think he'll get on the ballot here in California. That's RFK Jr. So I might vote for him. But here's a clip. Breaking news, new CNN poll, and they're shocked by it, of course.
5 a.m. here in Washington, where we have new CNN poll numbers this morning in 2 critical battleground states. The news is not great for President Biden and his campaign. The numbers show Donald Trump leading in both Georgia and Michigan. In Georgia, a state Biden carried by a very narrow margin in 2020, registered voters say they prefer Trump over Biden by 5%. In Michigan, which Trump won in 2016, but Biden carried in 2020, our poll now showing Trump 10 points up. Note that a full 10% of those polled in each state say that they wouldn't support either candidate. Trump's margin over Biden is significantly boosted in both states by people who say they did not vote in 2020. These less engaged voters favored Trump by 26 points in Georgia and 40 points in Michigan. Here to help 5 a.m.
Hey.
here in Washington, where we have new CNN poll numbers.
That's Casey Hunt. She's shocked and dismayed, it sounds like. But yeah, 10 points. But then it said 10% of people said neither one. And they didn't have RFK on the when they poll for RFK, he gets like 15% some places. So, and yeah, I think he pulls from both sides. But yeah, it's looking good. I don't know. It's still looking good for Trump. It's a dead even race as far as the betting goes right now. With Gavin Newsom bringing up third place, but way behind Trump and Biden. So I can show you that. This is the latest. I always show you guys the odds. Donald Trump and Joe Biden are currently tied at 39 cents to win $1. So, and then Gavin Newsom is at 10 cents and Nikki Haley's at 9 cents. And Vivek is way down the list. Nobody thinks Vivek is going to win. He's about the same as Kamala Harris. So, people are talking about this, how they're saying Trump said he was going to be a dictator. Okay. So I'll play that clip. Trump said he was going to be a dictator. So, and Joe Biden's running with it. He's saying, oh, Trump says he's going to be a dictator. Okay. So here's that.
Though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Yeah. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not that's
drill.
That's not that's not retribution.
I'm gonna be, you know, he keeps I love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's
all right.
exactly
Issue though, because the
anyway,
media has.
So now people are all saying, oh, Trump admits he's going to be a dictator. People are saying he'll never leave. So yeah, it was obviously a joke. Yeah, it's obviously a joke. I have news about, a black person tried to burn down MLK Jr.'s birth home in where, I don't know where that is. I can show you the video, but it's just 13 seconds. I don't even think there's sound. It's a person pouring gas. It's just a black person pouring gas on MLK's house, childhood home. And then he got caught by somebody and decided not to do it. So that was going to be blamed on, people suspect it was going to be blamed on a white person. Someone is stepping down from Project Veritas. The CEO of Project Veritas is stepping down. So this is the tweet, I guess. I am stepping down from all roles with Project Veritas and Project Veritas Action, effective immediately. Though I had high hopes when I joined the organizations, I stepped into an unsalvageable mess, one wrought with strong evidence of past illegality and past financial improprieties. Once such evidence was discovered, I brought the information to the appropriate law enforcement agencies. Thank you. So, yeah, media companies. I follow these media companies. Media companies are having trouble. It's difficult to make it these days. That's why we appreciate your super chats. We appreciate your coffees. We appreciate your contributions to the show. Let me play you this guy who I've been playing clips from. Did you want to see Tucker's? This is Tucker's new website. Join Team Tucker. Unlock all new shows from Tucker and his team. And it's $6 a month if you sign up for a year. So here are the must-see videos. Yeah, a lot of it's free. Dana White interview, Tucker Carlson with Kid Rock. The Tucker Carlson encounter, he's calling it. So, and then let's see if this is free. This is tuckercarlson.com. I'm just checking out the website. I checked out the sign up form. Looks like this is free.
Backstage, Madison Square Garden, New York City, before the fights on the 30th anniversary.
Yes,
of
that's
UFC,
free.
The man who runs it, Dana White. Happy
So
anniversary.
that's there on his website. But then if you want to join, you got to pay $6 a month or $9 a month. So are you going to sign up? How would you know? Are you going to sign up for it? I don't think I can't afford all these subscriptions, and I figure a lot of it'll still be free on Twitter, on X. All right, let me play this financial guy because I've been playing clips from him. This $8 trillion trap set by the Fed, and then maybe we'll wrap up the show. Well, I can open it up. If anybody wants to call in, you can call in. I'll play, or maybe after this clip though. And we'll see if anybody wants to call in, and feel free to participate in the chat.
The Federal Reserve is sitting on an $8 trillion mountain of stolen goods that it needs to get rid of. That could strangle credit, hike mortgages, and accelerate the recession. Now, most analyses of the Fed focus on interest rates, how they pump out easy money, and then they turn around and crash the banks and the wider economy. But in 2008, the Fed invented a second huge destabilizer called the balance sheet, meaning the assets that the Fed owns. So the Fed prints money by typing zeros on Excel sheets and then loudly declaring that it is money. Then they use all those magic zeros to buy stuff. Generally, they buy government bonds and mortgage-backed securities. The stuff is an asset. It's stolen from us, of course, but for the Fed, it is an asset, hence balance sheet. Now, since 2008, especially since COVID, this balance sheet has exploded, going from hundreds of billions, that was traditional back to the 70s, to almost 3 trillion in the wake of 2008, and then soaring to 9 trillion during COVID, when there was a totalitarian lockdown to buy. The balance sheet has since come down just a hair to about 8 trillion, but for perspective, that is close to half of all the bank accounts in America, all guarded by a dragon in the basement of the New York Fed, courtesy of those magic zeros. Problem is what to do with all those stuff. After all, those zeros became money, meaning they drove inflation, diluting existing dollars like water into wine. So far, we've only gotten part of that inflation, roughly half, going by the amount printed. The rest is locked away in savings. That means either the Fed has to reduce their balance sheet, they have to sell all the stuff and cancel the zeros, or they have to accept that high inflation will continue for years as the rest of that $8 trillion leaks out into inflation. Problem is, selling all of those assets will make their price go down. That's supply and demand 101. I've talked in recent videos about the tsunami of government debt hitting markets this year, about $10 trillion between refinancing old debt and fresh deficits. Problem is, nobody is buying. So banks are not buying. They almost had a failed treasury auction a few weeks ago. The Chinese and Saudis are not buying. They're diversifying from the dollar. Meanwhile, China has its own industries to bail out. So if the Fed is also selling while Janet Yellen is running around shaking a $10 trillion cup, there is nobody to buy. So fine, don't sell treasuries, just sell the other big hunk, which is the mortgage-backed securities. That is a cool 2.5 trillion of the Fed's hoard, and it would save Janet Yellen from herself. Problem there is that the Fed has been subsidizing housing for over a decade. In fact, that's a big reason why house prices went up so much. So if the Fed now flips to selling, it could actually drive up mortgage rates that are already at the highest in a generation. Now, given the housing market is essentially frozen at the moment, specifically because of high mortgage rates, and also given that the vast majority of Americans' net worth is in their house, in the equity, the Fed is very afraid to break housing, as it should be. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. By handing the lockdown gang $6 trillion to make their dreams come true, the bozos at the Federal Reserve crammed an elephant into a canoe. There is, at this point, no elegant way to get it off. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
All right. Yeah, that's a good clip. Yeah, that explains it. Mortgage rates will go up if they start selling the stuff that's on their balance sheet. So, all right, we did an hour. We have 105 people tuned in. Does anybody want to call in? I can leave the phones open and filibuster for a second. Let me go here. and then go here, and you can call in if you'd like. And otherwise, you can just ask questions in the chat too. If you want to do an Q&A, you can ask questions in the chat. We have 106 people here. That's more than usual. Thanks, Awakening Wonders. Thanks for being here on a Monday. Appreciate you. I'll look to see if there are any questions. We can look at the Bitcoin chart together. Bitcoin's coming back up. It's at 41,283. That's not bad. So it'll come back. The thing that Elizabeth Warren suggested today, it's probably not that consequential. So 650-429-8294 is the number if you want to call in. I haven't taken calls for a long time, mostly because I don't get enough people tuned in. I figured the magic number was about 140. So we'll see. I think it's still a good time to buy. Oh, Censored Mom says Rumble is Rumble is not working. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard Rumble is not working. I always look at their stock too. I'm going to click on their stock right now. See how it's doing. Down 3.84% today to $4.51. They had a bad day. So yeah, Rumble stock is down and their website is down. I have a channel on Rumble. It's called Nathan Stoltman. You just look for it, Nathan Stoltman. And these shows actually end up posting there. And actually, it might have a better archive of my shows because I delete the shows a lot of the time because I'm worried about censorship. So often these shows get deleted. They are probably all backed up on Rumble. If you go to this channel, that's my name, Nathan Stoltman, which I don't even leave a link to, but all right. We gave a second for calls. We'll leave it up for a second in case anybody wants to call in. Haven't heard from Jim for a while. Haven't heard from anybody for a while. Just been trying to build the numbers back up. Thanks everybody for showing up to the show. Glad I was getting good feedback while it was going on. 650-429-8294. Oh, there's a call. Interesting. This is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, it's you
Hey,
again.
this is Freedom Lover 69.
Oh, hey, are you the same person who called earlier or different?
I'm the same person, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. The phone number looked the same. What's up? What did you want to add?
Yeah, no, I just figure I know people like it whenever you get calls. People just seem like they're not calling in.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you want to call it? What do you want to talk? But you have to have something to talk about, and you already called in once.
Yeah. Well, I could talk about the housing market or the Twitter spaces.
Well, what do you want to say about the housing market? Do you have some personal experience?
Yeah, man. So I'm in the housing market. I'm in that industry here in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, people are having a hard time selling. They're also having a hard time buying as well.
What are the reasons for that?
So the reason why a seller is having a hard time buying or selling is because whenever they move to their next place, their mortgage payment is essentially going to be double what it was,
right?
What they were paying before,
right?
But they're only going to get half the house,
right? So yeah.
So why would they? What would make them want to do that?
Right. That's the thing. It's like golden handcuffs. That like you're stuck with these. If you have a low mortgage rate, like 2%, they were down around like 2%, right? At one point.
2.25. That's
Yeah.
the lowest I've seen on a VA loan.
Yeah. Okay.
Like those are like zero down VA loans.
Oh, really? Okay. So people were able to get in at that kind of rate a few years ago. And so now they're thinking of selling. And what are rates at right now? What are mortgage rates at?
So rates are at like, I think right now, like the best, I think is like a high 6. I think like 6.99.
So it's almost 7.
But that's,
right?
Yeah. So I would say like a normal person, like an average person is probably going to get like a 7 or an 8.
Right.
I bet. Right now.
What's a $500,000 mortgage? Like what if you put 20% down? So let's say you financed 80% of 500K.
Uh-huh.
What would your mortgage payment be?
Well, you're lucky that I have a mortgage calculator up right now. Okay. So at 8%, it'd be $3,300.
$3,300. And what would it have been at like 2.5% or 3%?
Let's just say 3.25. That's pretty good, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's low. That's
So
good.
3,300 to 3.25. Their mortgage payment would have been 2,100.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. That's
Dude,
crazy.
and just to add like $1,000 onto your salary every month,
Yeah. Right.
like nobody did that.
Right. Nobody did that. Right. Exactly. So it's not like incomes have come up in a commensurate way. Yeah. I wonder how anybody's buying houses right now. So it's hard to, is it hard to buy also because they're not giving loans as easily? Is that happening too? Or?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, so what a lot of people are doing right now, like sellers, what they're doing to entice people is they're doing rate buy downs,
Oh,
meaning
okay.
that they'll pay the lender. They'll
Uh-huh.
pay the lender like front loaded interest in order to make the rate like in the fives.
Right.
They'll like be able to bring it in the fives, but it only lasts like 2 years. Right? And then
Oh,
your rate's going to
interesting.
shoot up to 8%.
Interesting. So, and that costs money too. So that might cost
It
10.
does.
Yeah. So instead of lowering the
So
price,
let's just
is what
say
you're
that
saying. Instead of lowering the
exactly.
price, they're
So they
buying
sell the
down.
house for 500,000.
Right.
They sell the house for 500,000, and then 10,000 goes to the bank.
Right. 10.
So the
So
seller
it's,
doesn't even get that. So they really sell for 490.
yeah, right. Exactly. So that's what they're really doing. It's a way of reducing the price of your home without showing that you're reducing the price of the home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whether you're familiar with Central Texas or not, but we had historic increases in tax values as well. So you look at people's like assessed tax values, and they literally went up like 40, 50%.
Right.
And that coupled with interest rates that have also essentially, well, not essentially doubled your payment, but like added $1,000 onto a normal payment, like you're really cutting your buyers out. And
Yeah.
and I don't think that these public officials, I don't think that they're going to come down on their assessed value, because everybody knows that tax money, they all need it.
Right.
So they're not going to bring those values down. And it's a perfect storm, Nathan. It really
Wow.
is. And,
Wow.
and Texas has really high property taxes.
Yeah. Right. I
And
noticed that.
so, yeah, it almost makes your house into more of a liability
Right.
than an actual asset, because you
Right.
don't essentially own it, and you're paying, $12,000 a year just to own it.
Just in taxes. And that doesn't account for maintenance. And then insurance. Has insurance gone up too?
Yeah.
Homeowners
Oh, yeah.
insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insurance has definitely gone up. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think insurance premiums across the board, I think all those have really gone up. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, what I've been trying to focus on a lot is really like try to kick on some like owner financing type of situations
Mm.
where you actually have the owner of the house be the bank,
Oh,
and
really?
you essentially, so you'll give them $50,000, right?
Right.
You'll purchase their house at like, 500, and then the rest, that 450, is on like a note, like,
Right.
whatever percent you want it to be. But I've been doing some of that, and then also there's a lot of people who are trying to like assume mortgages. So if somebody has like a
Right.
mortgage in place that's at 3.25,
Right.
they can take that over,
Huh.
or they can
Interesting.
do what's called subject to, and they can start paying that mortgage, not tell the bank about it, but
Uh-huh.
just take over that mortgage and paying it.
Well, really, and not tell the bank about it. But then the owner still takes a risk, right? So that's difficult.
Yeah, they would. And yeah, and you write it in the contract that if they ever miss a payment, that the house is going to revert back to the ownership of the original owner.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some ways around it.
I see. Yeah, but then it just depends on how easy it is to kick people out and stuff.
Yeah, in Texas, it's really easy. You just show up with a shotgun, and you just tell them to leave,
Yeah, right.
and they usually get out.
Yeah, right. In
I heard
California,
about
it's
that
tough.
guy in Seattle. Or maybe it was Oregon. He's like a tenant for some guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not paying his rent,
Yep.
and he Airbnbs the house.
Right, right. It's amazing. And somehow he's able to get away with it, and the owner can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, the owner's essentially a landlord, you know, like a
Yeah.
real suck on society. Those kind of people, man.
Right.
That's a joke.
Yeah, I get it. Well, that's interesting.
Nice.
Well,
Well, how's
thanks for the
everything
report on
going?
that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm always willing to give a housing report. How's everything going in California?
As far as
I guess your life. I don't know.
it's going well, man. I try to focus on the positive. I have some stuff I have to deal with. But I mean, just focusing on the positive, trying to keep my show going, trying to do my show every weekday and book a few consulting sessions and do what I can. I can't pass a background check right now. That's the trouble that's a little trouble I have. So I can't drive for DoorDash or anybody because I had to plead guilty to resisting arrest on this one thing. So yeah, so I'm just kind of
Oh
screwed.
man,
I guess yeah, I got screwed, but it'll clear off eventually after a year total, and time has gone by. It's been more than 6 months already. So, just trying to try to keep a real positive attitude day to day. Just remember the things I'm grateful for, the things I have.
Oh, good, man.
So,
yeah, it is very important to be grateful, right? And really think about like because we're very lucky, man. We really are.
Yeah, exactly. Like I see a homeless person, every time I think I'm glad that, like that's not me. Like I have a lot going for me.
Right.
So yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are just, a few bad decisions away from being homeless.
Yeah.
I feel like it could happen to a lot of people.
Yeah, it could. It can. It definitely could have happened to me. So I'm glad I'm in the situation I'm in right now. I'm grateful. So.
And hey, I remembered the question I wanted to ask you about Twitter Spaces, if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that recording of Vivek, did it sound like he was peeing? It didn't sound like he was peeing to me.
It didn't sound, not necessarily. I mean, you couldn't hear a strong stream or anything. It just sounded like a trickle. So I'm not sure what it was. He might not have actually been peeing.
Right.
But he played it off.
I'd love to hear what he said. I'm sure he's going to comment on it to somebody.
He said he felt great.
But
That's what he said on the Spaces.
Thing.
Yeah, it was crazy, especially with all those people tuned in. But yeah, pretty funny.
120,000 people
at once. I saw at least that many tuned in at once, and over 11 million have seen it now.
Yeah.
Or heard it. So
yeah, and your phone kind of
news.
like cuts out now after a while of being on. It like kind of like has a little shaky connection.
It's glitching a little bit. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, cool, Nathan. Yeah, somebody else should call in.
All right.
Definitely. What's his name from Baltimore?
Yeah.
I haven't heard him in a while.
Okay, cool, man. I don't see him in the chat, so I don't know if he's here, but I'll leave it open for a second. Thanks, man. Thanks for the call.
Sounds good. Later.
All right. See ya. All right. And I can answer some questions from the chat. Hey, Jedi, I'm doing all right tonight. It's not tonight. It's today right now for me. It's 3:13 p.m. And I do have to wrap things up so I can take care of the rest of my, got to take Sumi for a walk. Oh, another. Hey, you're on the air.
Nathan, it's Mike. I was just thinking about, I was kind of wanting to bounce this off you. I was thinking about this today. I kind of mentioned in the chat, but what do you think about this idea that they're setting up this false dialectic between these two extreme sides of the political spectrum? I just see like there's so many of these crazy like cartoon type characters that they're pushing out there, like whether it be the guy from Argentina, like I can agree with what he's doing, but it's just the way he's going about it, his appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got guys like Klaus Schwab on the other side, like he's like a Bond villain. It just seems so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like a managed stage play or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I think that's the way this particular reality works. Is people, it's like Clown World, or Upside Down World, where people.
It didn't. Go ahead.
Well, where people look the way like you expect them to if they were a Bond villain or something.
Right. It didn't. Maybe I just wasn't aware, but things seemed to make more sense in the 80s and 90s, at least when I was a kid. I don't know if like a switch got flipped you know, it's 2001 or something, but it just seems crazy. I mean, I just from going back to the thing with this dialectic, it just seems like an opportunity for the people behind the scenes to create this massive type of conflict, you know, and then come in and say, well, we're the moderates. We're going to be the ones that are going to come in and solve these problems. We're not going to allow these crazy evil people to come and dictate your life. Everything's going to be calm. That seems like a good way to set up a technocracy, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see it, but we don't, you know, right now we don't have any of those characters who are doing very well. I mean, somebody like that would be, I don't know, Ron DeSantis or something, but he's not doing that well in the polls. So people seem to
yeah,
like.
that's true. That's true. They don't have any leadership in like them. But again, would that be like an opportunity to say like we're going to go to like an AI type of governance?
Yeah. Well,
know?
maybe. Yeah. Maybe it can be used for AI.
Cool. Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's all I
all right.
thought of something else. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that real quick. So.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Yeah, brother. Take care.
All right. See ya. All right. I think that might have been a little loud on the audio. Hopefully it sounded okay. Yeah, the false dialectic. It is a weird reality we live in right now. That's for sure. Someone said, do you think we're going to have a smooth working presidential election in 2024? Maybe. Somebody else had called in, so I could wait for another call. We're doing an extra long show. Make sure to support the show, though. I do need to get a few donations here and there. So if people could help or buy our t-shirts, buy our t-shirts, truthclothing.io. That's screaming across the bottom of the screen. Yeah, you can get one of these Lift the Veil shirts. If you're just a fan of Lift the Veil, Never Normal. These are cool shirts. These are $15 on the website. You just go to the sale section. So we do have stuff on sale for the holidays, and then we might do another sale. So check your emails if you've bought from us before. All right. And there was another caller, but I think I got to wrap up. It's been about an hour and 20. So I think I got to wrap up to take care of some stuff. So that's it for now. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Well, let me see. There was somebody else who tried to call in, and it's good to get calls, but we'll save it for next time. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the kind words and everything. We're all happy to be here. Remember, you can become a member or buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. You can donate through Cash App, $sign LTV411. You can sign up for consulting just by texting me at 650-429-8294, 650-GAY-TAXI. You can text me and we can do consulting on cryptocurrencies or anything you think I might be able to be helpful with. All right. That's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And for now, we'll take it. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Nathan, this is Parody Bear.
Hey, Parody Bear.
Apparently today I noticed that wieners are spelled different. Like Oscar Mayer wieners had already changed once. Now wieners was always spelled Wieners.
Okay, wieners. So you're talking about a Mandela effect. So now wiener is spelled differently. It's W-E, or what is it?
No, now it's W-I-E now.
W-I-E. Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. I don't know. I don't know if
and now my family's like, oh, it's always been that way. Did you see yin yang change to yin yang?
Yin yang instead of yin yang. That's correct. It was always yin yang as far as I know.
Have you seen a lot of people talking about these Christmas songs? It's up on the rooftop, something, but now it's always been up on the housetop.
Huh. Okay.
And then a lot of people talking about I'll be home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Now a lot of the old songs are playing on me. We already know about the reindeers. What is it? One's called Donder and one's Blixen.
Oh, it's
not
Blixen.
Donner and Blixen.
Oh, okay.
And then the other song was Let It Snow, Let It Snow. People remember Hold Me Tight, and now it's Grab Me Tight.
Huh.
And the other one was Housetop, Rooftop. I'll be home for Christmas. I always forget this fourth one.
Okay. All right.
Brian Staley recently the Dose of Reality guy was recently saying that CERN admitted that they can actually change history. They're doing something with whatever those things they found. They said they can like erase one, and they think 1 in 4 times it's causing a change.
Interesting. Well,
I looked for the
why.
info, but I couldn't find it. I guess I didn't word it
All right.
right, though.
All right. I'll have to look into it.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, my man. Thanks, Parody Bear. See you. All right. The quality wasn't so good. Garbled or unclear audio. Send. Okay, cool. We got an extra call about some Mandela effects. I can't say. Wieners, whiners, not sure. All right, guys. I was wrapping up. Thanks for staying tuned. And that's the show. Thanks, guys. We'll see you at the next one. Have a good night. All right. Peace.